Hey, welcome to the Trash Picture Show. As you guys know, I'm a huge Alien movie fan, and since today is April 26th, aka Alien Day, I'm going to review the movie that started it all, 1979's Alien, the original brainchild of Dan O'Bannon. It was a kind of pitch of a B movie creature feature with very contemporary sensibilities. And Bannon had originally directed a small sci-fi with John Carpenter called Dark Star, a sci-fi comedy, and it didn't do well at all. People didn't like it, critics didn't like it, audiences didn't like it. And as Bannon says, well, if I can't make them laugh, then I'll make them scream. He decided to write and pitch a story very much like a haunted house movie in space. He went to every studio and nearly every studio rejected him. Roger Corman showed slight interest, but O'Bannon was lucky. Before he could sell the script, Fox approached him. They recently had a huge hit with Star Wars and they wanted to follow up with another sci-fi movie pronto. O'Bannon, while had been doing the original draft, he was quickly replaced by Walter Hill and David Giler, and he was annoyed, but he was still part of the movie. Later on, he met with the director, an up-and-coming man by the name of Ridley Scott, who had done one picture by the name of The Duelists. O'Bannon was a bit confused, but then he realised Scott had a fantastic visual eye, and he suggested they should hire H.R. Giger, a man O'Bannon had met doing the original kind of planning and preparation for Dune in Europe. The idea was that it wasn't going to be anything like 2001: A Space Odyssey or Star Trek. It was going to be very grim and very gritty. It was going to be truckers in space. Scott had a big influence not only from sci-fi but modern horror as well. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a real greasy, grimy kind of movie, and he wanted to bring that aesthetic to Alien. Originally, the movie was called Star Beast, but O'Bannon's friend Ron Shusett pointed out, well, that sounds a bit silly. Why don't you just call it Alien? And he did, and the title is fantastic. As I said before, the movie doesn't go with the regular sci-fi tropes. They're not scientists or explorers or astronauts. They're truckers. They're truckers in space who answer the distress call. The cast at the time was very bit part actors, which was fantastic because you couldn't determine who was going to die. The biggest name in the movie was Tom Skerritt as Captain Dallas. You initially think he's going to be the hero, when the actual hero is kind of an actual brash, cocky lieutenant by the name of Ripley, played by an unknown at the time, Sigourney Weaver. The rest of the cast is fantastic. The late great John Hurt, he was amazing. Veronica Cartwright, Yaphet Kotto, Ian Holm, Harry Dean Stanton, they all steal the screen. But for me, the star of the movie is this guy, the Xenomorph. Thanks to H.R. Giger's amazing design, we have one of cinema's greatest movie monsters. When I saw the movie originally, I couldn't determine, did it have 2 arms, 4 arms, 6 legs? I couldn't tell. Scott filmed it in fleeting glimpses. You didn't know what you were seeing. You didn't know where the beast would come from next. It was amazing. H.R. Giger's design, making it a biomechanoid lifeform, was perfect. It could conceal itself into any part of this monstrous ship that the crew was on. Essentially, it was a fantastic idea to make a beast camouflaged among the environment, so you don't know where it could come from next. The main points about Alien is it is contained, it is claustrophobic. You can't go anywhere, you can't leave the ship, you're in the middle of nowhere. It's a haunted house in space. I think a lot of the horror is lost in the latter movies. But that said, I think directors bring something of their own to each interpretation. But for me, Alien is probably the best of all the movies, followed very closely by Aliens. I see Alien, Aliens, and Alien 3 all as one block, and I think they complement each other. But the aesthetic seems to be the same throughout all the movies, and that is down to Ridley Scott and H.R. Giger. Have I anything else to say about Alien? Well, I saw Alien when I was 11. I saw it after seeing Aliens, and everyone says they jump at the facehugger scene or the chestburster scene. The scene that got me, and minor spoilers if you haven't seen the movie. If you haven't seen the movie, go and watch the bloody thing. But Ian Holm, he's revealed to be a synthetic when Yaphet Kotto bashes his head off with a gas canister after he tries to murder Ripley. Sigourney Weaver is fantastic. Obviously, her character is iconic. She became the first bona fide action heroine in Hollywood, and her performance is amazing. All the characters' performances are amazing. But as I said before, you didn't suspect that she would survive. You would think that Skerritt, being the kind of main headlining cast member, would be the kind of protagonist or hero of the movie. But no, they turned that trope on its head. In the original script, Ripley wasn't even supposed to survive. The alien was actually going to come back into the ship, tear her head off, and then go on the comm system using her voice and tell whatever kind of Weyland-Yutani communications network that she was coming in. The movie, I think, still holds up to this day. It is a fantastically made, paced, and fantastically visually appealing movie. You can show it to anyone in any part of the world and it will still scare them. Sometimes I think some cultures or some age groups or some demographics don't get horror, but I think Alien kind of crosses all boundaries when it comes to horror. If you do want to kind of expand your knowledge or love of Alien, I would definitely check out Alan Dean Foster's original novel. This has stuff that was in the director's cut. The scene where Ripley finds Dallas cocooned in a ship. And there is another scene where they almost trap and dispose of the alien. But the Haylock system goes off, pins the alien's arm under a door. It bleeds acid and nearly breaches the ship and kills Ripley. If you get a chance, definitely check out Alan Dean Foster's book. If you're a comic fan, I would check out the awesome Alien, the illustrated story. Archie Godwin, Walter Simpson. It was originally featured in Heavy Metal Comics, and the artwork is pretty amazing. It captures the feel and vibe of the movie fantastically. I mean, check that out. There's also kind of a weird scene that doesn't seem to be featured in any of the movies, where I think I pointed this out before. The alien seems to turn into a box. But yeah, if you get a chance, definitely check this out. It is an awesome comic. It is an awesome book. And if you're an Alien fan, it's a must. Video game wise, this is amazing. Alien Isolation. It takes place, I think, 15 or 16 years after the events of Alien. And Ripley's daughter, Amanda, is now 26 and is an engineer herself and decides to take a job on board the Torrance to get to Sevastopol station. On Sevastopol, a black box flight recorder has been found from the Nostromo and has a message from her mother. So in order to find out what happened to her mother, Amanda decides to go on board the station and get the black box recorder. Alas, there's also a xenomorph on the station and it is causing all kinds of problems. This game is fantastic. Like other Alien games, always gives you a shitload of guns and a shitload of ordnance. This one, you are being hunted. You have nothing. You cannot kill the alien. You can scare it off. You can hide from it. You'll be hiding from it a lot. But Creative Assembly done an amazing job. The aesthetic of this game matches the movie from 1979 perfectly, with all the old CRT screens and all the old kind of machinery and mechanics. It works perfectly, and it's probably one of the best kind of Alien sequels never made. The story is vastly compelling. You have Amanda, kind of her resolve is so strong that she's willing to fight through the terror, fight through the fear, and try and reconnect with her mother. There are parts that are kind of controller poundingly frustrating, But if you do get this game, stick with it because it is awesome. There's also 2 pieces of bonus DLC, Last Survivor and Crew Expendable. Last Survivor is pretty cool because you play a section from the movie where you have to basically set off the ship's self-destruct, just like in the movie, and get to the lifeboat. And you play as Ripley, and Sigourney Weaver does the voice. So if you get a chance, definitely check this out. Last but not least, there is this beast. This is an awesome book. The Alien Vault. It is amazing. It has so much stuff from the movie. It has designs from Rod Cobb and Sid Mead and H.R. Geiger. And if you are an Alien fan, this is an absolute must. As I said before, not only has Alien influenced so many sequels and crossovers in comic books and novels, it's influenced an entire subgenre of sci-fi horror. You wouldn't have Event Horizon, you wouldn't have Pandorum, you wouldn't have The Thing, Chronicles of Riddick. None of these movies would exist without Alien, and that is really, really important. It created a subgenre of sci-fi horror, and to that we owe it a great gratitude. I love this movie. I love the subsequent movies. I have a soft spot for Resurrection, but by and large I think it's a piece of shit. But I have to thank the late Dan O'Bannon for creating such a fantastic movie, and without which we wouldn't have such great kind of characters and creatures and designs. And to you, Mr. O'Bannon, I salute you. So this has been the Trash Picture Show. Hope you guys have a great Alien Day. Bye now.